So you've conceded St. Tottenham's Day this year already, and
Who said that?
you've conceded that Arsenal's going to finish above you. Am I wrong?
I haven't said that. You should do, but to say that we conceded it when there's so much football left to be played. Let's see in that. I'm not going to come out and say until it's mathematically possible, because you're putting words in my mouth. I've never said that.
There's no way Tottenham finish above Arsenal.
Yeah, come on.
Listen, there's a lot of football left to be played. Until it's mathematically possible, I'm not coming out and saying that. All I will say is that you lot are favourites to win the league, so you can take it however you want.
When we had this conversation a year ago, and people were saying Conte and Arteta, I said, you know what? Obviously, Conte is the better manager. At this point, can you admit that Mikel Arteta has been doing better with less?
What are you talking about? How long has Arteta been there, and how long has Conte been there? Please don't compare apples and oranges.
Your guy is a world-class manager. You're saying he's a better manager. How is he performing this bad? How is he performing this bad with world-class players?
This bad. We finished above you last season, and we're still in the mix for a top.
I'm not talking about last season. Stop deflecting.
No, girls, allow it. You're talking shit.
I'm not talking shit.
You are talking shit.
I'm not talking shit.
Arsenal
are the best team in the world right now based on points.
Best team in the world.
Based on points accumulated in the league, we have the best points accumulated in the world in European football. And you have
this is what happened. You lot do too much talking.
Players. Let me go, and then you're done.
Way too much talking.
When I'm done, you can go. You have 2 world-class players. You have a world-class manager. You have better players, apparently. You have a team that finished in the Champions League. You have investment from that you could have got from Champions League. And yet, Mikel Arteta has us fighting at the top of the table. Your world-class manager had you guys in the conversation for top 4, and he's conceding it this early, saying, I don't know what to do. He's throwing his toys at the Prem. But yet, you still want to back Conte over Arteta. Be the bigger man and admit it that Antonio Conte is not doing it right now. And Mikel Arteta, right now, you'd rather have him over Conte.
No, I wouldn't. What are you on about? No, I wouldn't. Arteta has not won a league title yet, so you need to also hold out and chill out a bit.
Arteta's 1 league title away from equaling Conte's legacy in
the has he done it? Has he done it? You're talking like you lot have won the league already. Like, there's so much football left to be played. Again, this is why you get clipped and memed the fuck out of, because you go way too early. We're only in January in a condensed season. There's been 1 month less of football, and you're already talking about how Arteta's better than Conte when he's done fuck all.
Arteta, a lot of your fans,
so far,
a lot of your Tottenham fans would change Arteta for Conte right now.
No, they wouldn't.
They would.
Under what premise?
A lot of Tottenham fans would change Mikel Arteta for Conte at this moment in time.
No, they wouldn't.
The development of players,
this is the thing.
Based on the fact that he's able to get better out of players, based on the fact that when the chips are down, he holds himself accountable and he doesn't throw blame at other individuals, and he stands up and
it's all well and good you saying this, but you're acting like Arteta's been backed first and foremost. You spent a lot of money, and the key ingredient that you seem to keep overlooking is that Arteta's had a lot of time. Yeah, Conte hasn't had the same amount of time, so let's be fair, innit? Right now, Arteta's doing fantastic. You lot are playing the best football in the league. You are the best team in the league. But to say all of this and that about how Arteta's the better manager, it's a bit crazy. Is Arteta better than Jurgen Klopp and other guys that he's above right now? No, he's not. But right now, you guys are in form and doing well. Yeah, he's the better manager as well. And he's the better manager as well.
But for Tottenham, he is not going to last long. Guess what? Mikel Arteta is going to last longer than Conte. Conte is going to be gone by the end of the year. He's not going to last the rest of the year.
You said all of this last year. Nostradamus 2.0 or 2.3 now.
At this moment in time, you guys are holding on. You guys are holding on to a fractured. This guy right now, Antonio Conte, has an unhealthy relationship with your club, your fan base, and your ownership, and your whole board. You need to get rid of him, because he's not going to benefit you guys in the long run. He's just going to continuously fight with you guys.
Please just chill out.
And in the long run, if your ownership is going to be successful, they need to have somebody who's going to be able to work under the parameters Tottenham work under. Conte will never be able to be happy in the parameters Tottenham work under. It's always going to be a toxic relationship. And maybe you want a manager like him. Maybe you want a manager that does that and tries to do that. Maybe. But at the end of the day, I genuinely believe you guys are just trying to continuously bandage over cracks. And Antonio Conte, you're worse off with a manager like him that doesn't hold himself accountable, doesn't try to get the best out of the players, and constantly throws people under the bus.
Listen, thank you very much for that. We've got some super chats I want to go to here. The first one says, question for the panel: where would Spurs finish if Harry Kane got injured? Outside top 10 or relegation? Joshua also said if Conte and Kane leave, where would they finish? I mean, if Harry Kane left Tottenham, they won't ever make top 4. It'd be impossible without him, unless they go out and bring somebody in of a very high level. I think we'd agree. This here says, Igal, if Man United get a result at the Emirates, is Ten Hag a better manager than Arteta? Colin, are you single? Terry, all-female panelists, next show, please. The last bit probably won't happen for a while. But Colleen, are you still single, or you got a fella now?
My heart belongs to Unai Emery.
Yeah. Colleen's always single. It's mad. She blames the men, but I think she's got the problem, really.
Wait, let's move on.
Colleen needs a top G around at the minute. But Igal, if Man United beat you at the Emirates, is Ten Hag better than Arteta?
No, one individual game doesn't make you a better manager. Worst managers are able to beat Pep Guardiola on a yearly basis.
What was that? Wait. So on a basis that you've just had a decent run of form and pretty much only won a domestic trophy under him, when Ten Hag's won his league in his own country and all that kind of stuff makes...
According to Igal, Arteta's the best manager in the league.
Listen to what I said before you get upset. I said one-off games don't determine who's a better manager.
Okay, but he's already beat your manager once.
But what's Arteta done for you to say he's better than Conte? Because you're like, where does it start and stop? Because you just had a long 5-minute rant with me telling me that Arteta's better than Conte. I wish I had.
Conte has a better CV, but Mikel Arteta, based on the situation that my club's in, your club's in, and certain other clubs that are building, Antonio Conte is very toxic, and he doesn't benefit you.
I want to ask you a question. Sorry, guys. Your question, Igal, you said earlier that Arteta is doing more with less. So are you saying that the Spurs squad is actually better than Arsenal's?
No, what I'm saying is based on the fact that they have world-class players and Arteta is able to get better out of players that people
So again, for me listening, that sounds like you're saying Spurs have got the better team, but you've got the better manager. What are you saying?
Spurs have the better manager, apparently. Spurs have 2 world-class players, apparently, and they're.
Why are you saying apparently? It either is or isn't.
But if you're Pat, if you're doing more with less, that means you've got less. So have you got less resources than Tottenham?
No, it's not resources. It's based on reputation. The players are the reputation of the players before the beginning of the season. Let's be honest. Tottenham were viewed as the team that have a better squad. Let's not rewrite history.
Yeah, but I'm asking you your opinion. Do you think you've got less than Tottenham? Less players, less squad, less resource?
Based off the opinions of the masses at the beginning of the season.
No.
Based on form now, we have one of the best teams in the world right now.
That's not a question.
Igal, at the start of the season, did you think your squad was better than Tottenham's?
No.
That was all the answer that was needed. I didn't need
that's what I said.
What? You don't need to do some flipping speech, bro. It's like a yes or no question, G.
I didn't need to know what Saucy Martinelli 19 on Twitter thought, to be honest.
And you guys changed the answer.
Thanos City here says 10 games ago, Arsenal will choke again.
Right,
this league is our playground. 5 in 6 incoming is what Thanos, who's a City fan, has got to say here.
Everyone should want Arsenal to win the league except for Tottenham fans and Chelsea fans.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
I'm just starting to focus on English football. Tottenham fans are so shameless. Never seen a team in any league that has not won anything, and their fans talk so much. Is what PLS 27.
The fact that you just started focusing on football means that you shouldn't have an opinion right now. So allow it. Like, you don't know anything to be talking. Like,
he says English football, but super chat away, my friend. Thank you very much. I appreciate. Just tongue in cheek. I can't lie. That means this while you were is what he says here. We have another super chat that's come in. It's just come in here. It says, as an Arsenal fan, we've done great so far, but if we're serious about winning the league, we need to bring players in, not enough depth. And McManus, you're right. And Arsenal need to go out and spend big this window. They don't need to get ripped off, but they do need to spend big. They've got to bring players in, and there has to be alternatives because no one knows what a year looks like. And that's not a dig at Arsenal. This time last year, if you just said Arsenal would be on top of the league by 5 points, nobody would have believed you. No one really would have believed you. So who knows where Chelsea will be next year? Liverpool might have new owners. United could go to another level. City could be back to their brilliant best. I mean, they're already bloody good. So, yeah, it's you've got to strike while the iron is at Arsenal and not worry about being a fucking accountant and shit like that. Get that job done. Win that trophy. Because winning that trophy, listen, Leicester ain't happy with where they are now. But Leicester wouldn't change what they've won in the last 5-6 years for anything, I reckon. That's just
I don't think anyone's being an accountant this year. A lot of people are agreeing with you.
Some are, some ain't. And again, if you're someone who, this is what I say to Gooners, stop like thinking about all Arsenal fans as your friends, because there's a lot of dickheads as well. Like, I'm a Man United fan, but I'm a Man United fan in isolation. There's a lot of United fans that say some weird stuff about my club, and I don't agree with them. There are some Arsenal fans today that I've seen come for Ten Hag, and they're like, well, Ten Hag might be getting United to a higher level quicker than Arteta did, but it's because the squad had millions of pounds spent on it before he arrived. And then I looked at it. The 4 seasons before Arteta become manager, £446 million spent. The 4 seasons before, I just used 4 because it was just I went with 4. I could have gone with 5 or 6. But the 4 seasons before Ten Hag arrived, 476 million. So United, 30 million more spent on our squad before our manager arrived. But now I'm seeing only a handful of Gooners, and it's really weird. They're like, well, Ten Hag should be doing better than Arteta did in the early stages because he had a better squad when he took over. I'm like, man, you guys predicted us coming 10th. That's what I mean by accountants. It's kind of weird to me. Not all. The majority of Gooners are just celebrating being top, but there is a very few small amount who I think are worried that another team might rebuild quicker or another team might win. Like, this is what always happens, though, because it happens to City. If Man United win the league next year, most rivals will say, yeah, but you bought it. That's just the narrative they're setting up early. That's what I mean by being accountants. It's so obvious to see from this early. Tom, did they drop points against the bottom 3 teams?
They do that every year, though. Newcastle, West Brom, Southampton, Crystal Palace. Man City drop stupid points every year. But my point is, they always go on late surges in seasons. They always go on these late surges in seasons. And when you've got that pressure on your back where you know you can't drop points because they're not going to, that's where I'll see what Arsenal are made of. Because right now they've done great, but they're capitalising on a Man City team that's trying to readapt itself. The biggest I've seen it under Pep, going from this false 9, false striker system to a big man up top who doesn't touch the ball for 20 minutes. If they figure that out quickly enough, and I think they can do in this period, I think Pep's slowly starting to figure it out. If they figure it out quick enough and they go on that run with Haaland in there, that's the worry for Arsenal, because them runs are the ones you can't deal with.
Yeah, it's going to be such an interesting second half. Sky King says, Coattails Club, Pat needs to keep Arsenal out his mouth. Spurs ain't even worthy to speak the name. Stay away from stupid, by the way. Fair enough. Pat's lovely. Pat's not stupid. He's a lovely guy. He's a lovely guy. He's not stupid either. He's not stupid. He's got a good job.
Yeah, that's so harsh. Like, wow.
Yeah, he's having banter, but I'm just being. I'm sure Patrick is not going to lose any sleep over it. Like,
I really don't care. Like, even I see Kaz's comment or his ad or just ignored him. Like, not even biting. Look at that.
You need to understand that this is Arteta's first job. Yeah, well, listen, we get that. Listen, and I already know. Listen, I can read these things a mile away because I've been in this game too long. The same as when Liverpool fans were building up that Pep Guardiola's reign early on was the greatest ever Premier League team, because they smelt blood that they could overtake them and win a few league titles. Therefore, they could say, if they were the best and we pipped them, we're the best. There are some Arsenal fans that right now are going to start setting up this kind of narrative of Arteta's first job. He gutted the squad. He developed certain youth players, because they're getting their story ready now. They're planting the seed for say we go into a new Man United Arsenal era for 3 or 4 years. Say we do, hypothetically speaking. Arsenal fans will want to have the reasons why their run is the best. Man United will have their reasons why their run is the best. When in reality, it will just be which one wins the most damn trophies in that time period. That is what it'll be judged on. But like Arsenal fans did years back, yeah, Fergie won more, but our net spend was better. Like, that's the kind of thing. And that's not a dig. That's just what fans do. Liverpool fans have been doing it for the last 6 years.